All right, man. So I had you on the podcast months ago, really, right at the height of the coronavirus, I guess phase one, this is still called phase one, perhaps. And I remember talking with you about, how Xlear can really help battle some of the symptoms of COVID-19. And you mentioned some studies were being done on Xlear focused on the COVID situation. What's the status of that now, months later from when we talked last?
Well, the status of that is actually really positive. As I explained there, COVID is a three-stage disease, and the first and second stages are in your upper airway, they're in your nose. And so anything you can do to help clean that out is going to work great. But, we've gotten studies back from Utah State University, University of Geneva in Switzerland, showing that our nasal spray actually kills the coronavirus, kills it very effectively, almost as effectively as straight alcohol does. And it's safe to spray in your nose. Obviously, we've been using it for over 20 years. So no, it's very promising, the results.
So I know that you've sent some stuff to the Dodgers. I know other teams have been in contact with you as well. I think back in December, you met with a bunch of teams in San Diego, talking to them about Xlear. What was the purpose of those meetings, and would you come away from those meetings, knowing more about your work with MLB moving forward?
Well, the meetings in December were actually before this whole COVID thing happened, and that was about the historical thing that Xlear does, which is people use it for allergies. It was originally invented to block bacterial adhesion to help people not get sick as often. It was originally invented to prevent ear infections in babies, but it works with sinus infections and helps keep the upper airway clean and opens up the airway through osmosis rather than using steroids. That's what we met with them back in December to discuss. This whole thing is since then.
So the one in the news right now is the Marlins. They have basically had almost their entire team wiped out by COVID-19. I think they've had 17 positive tests. Have you been able to reach out to the Miami Marlins and discuss about maybe using Xlear moving forward?
Well, that's interesting because not 2 hours ago, we had a discussion where they called in and we're shipping them a bunch of product.
That's awesome. Good to hear. That'll be a huge help. I know that, man, I've been using Xlear now for a long time. And I tell you what, man, I think it's changed my life. And that's not just me tooting your horn. I really believe that. So how about, are you planning on trying to get Xlear into every Major League Baseball locker room, or what's the plan and what can we all expect from Xlear?
Well, we would like to see that. We would like to have people, anybody that's being exposed to COVID, anybody that has any problems like that, we would like them to start using it. The first stage of the studies we finished doing, that's the one we did it in vitro, where we showed that it killed it. We are getting ready now to go and start doing human testing in the next 2 weeks. We're going to start doing those tests, and those tests should be done within the next month or two. It all depends on how fast we can get them off the ground. But what we expect and what we theorize is happening is we understand that COVID is a respiratory disease. It is in your nose. That's where it starts. That's where it grows. And currently what people do is from the time they test positive until the time they're sick enough to go to the hospital, all they're asked to do is sit at home, self-quarantine, maybe take some zinc or something. What the Xlear is doing, and there's other products that are out there being studied, but what they're doing is they're actually killing the virus in the nose before it has a chance to grow and expand and infect the rest of the body. And
So
that's what we would expect to happen.
Right. Seems like a no-brainer, right? So is the idea to basically, do you just wake up and use Xlear in the morning? Do you use it multiple times throughout the day? When's the best time to actually use the product?
That's actually a really good question. And what we're telling people right now and what our study protocol is to use it for the first 2 weeks, use it every 3 to 4 hours. Okay, and the reason for that is your snot clearance cycle, your mucociliary clearance cycle is roughly 3 to 4 hours. And so what you want to do is you want to keep the nasal spray in there so that it's going to work. It's going to kill for that whole 3 to 4 hours, and then you reapply it. 3 or 4 hours, you reapply it. So you just use it every 3 to 4 hours while you're awake.
Well, it seems really encouraging. I mean, as a player, it seems like a no-brainer that it needs to be in every locker room, training room across Major League Baseball. So hopefully we'll be seeing Xlear everywhere here soon, man. Nate, I appreciate you taking the time to explain it.
Well, thank you. For those of you that want to learn more about the science that we were just talking about, go right here to don'tgetsickclub.com, and the studies are all posted up there and more information and the thought process behind how it works.